I only really have 2 elite skills. Being able to perform with confidence live accordion shows even though I have no idea how to play the instrument. And strumming guitar. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips for beginners to improve their guitar strumming so you don't just have the same that same strumming sound over and over again that you are resigned to think you're just going to be able to play until you die. So let's get right to tip number 1. Selective string hitting. Doesn't matter if you're using a pick, doesn't matter if you're using your fingers. Selective string hitting is the number 1 way to get your guitar playing and your guitar strumming up to speed, get it better, make it more interesting. We're gonna take for granted that you know how to count, all right? If you've ever seen any of my videos, you know my number 1 pet peeve is down, 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 up, down, up. No, stop right now, that's terrible. You're doing yourself and the world a disservice by counting with ups and downs. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. That's what we're gonna do. The numbers are downstrokes, the word and is gonna be an upstroke, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a bar. 4 beats in a bar is what we're gonna start with. And now we're gonna selectively hit strings. We're gonna take a G major chord. Everybody knows this chord, right? I'm playing it with my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. I'm kinda stopping there. You can get crazy and get your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E string. Call me old-fashioned. I just like that B string on top, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna selectively hit some of the strings. So we're gonna take this is what it sounds like when you hit all the strings. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, 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 up, 1, 2. It always sounds the same. It's got a lot of mid-range, there's not a lot of excitement to that, you've really got nowhere else to go. So what we're gonna start doing is gonna do this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so it's the same chord, it's the same count, but what I'm doing is I'm separating the string set into 2 groups. So I've got the low group and the high group, okay? Now, it doesn't even have to be that accurate. I'm kind of thinking generally the low group is the lowest 3 strings and the high group is the highest 3 strings. You don't have to be that specific. You don't have to be so good where you can just hit 1 string every time if you want to. You can kind of be a little loose with it. The idea is just to hone in and be like, all right, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that 1 count, I'm gonna get the low part. Maybe I even just get the low E string, the root note. 1, 2. That 2 count, that downstroke, I'm gonna get the higher part of the chord, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, we've already got a little bit of separation going on, right? Sounds more interesting than. Okay, so that's just a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. All right, so now the second half of this bar, the 3 and 4 and, we're gonna go down, up, but we're gonna break it into the low part and the high part. 3 and 4 and, okay? Now again, am I hitting the low 3 strings down and up and then the highest 3 strings? Doesn't really matter. Sometimes I can mix it up, sometimes I can get a little bit of one and a little bit of the other, but it's really just taking the time to just start thinking and playing thoughtfully, trying to get the lower parts or the higher parts. That's the beautiful thing about guitar chords. Usually, especially with the open chords, you're doubling certain notes, right? In this G major chord, let's play a full G major where it's 3E, 2A, open D, open G, 3B, 3E. I've got a G, a B, a D, another G, another D, and another G. So I'm not really subtracting any information from the chord by playing it selectively, but I am giving it a much different sound strumming. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. See how that sounds different? You can even add a little palm muting to it to give it more of a dynamic. But again, this is the same count as that, which I'm fighting the guitar even for volume. There's nowhere for me to go. Now, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and C, A minor, E minor, G, C, A minor, E minor, G. Oh, and then I end it with a G sharp. So that's just tip number 1, selective string hitting. Tip number 2 is use different chord voicings, okay? Different chord voicings can be daunting at first, but actually they're a lot easier most of the time than the ones you're using, okay? For instance, I really like this chord progression right here. Okay, maybe you've never ventured this far into the neck. The people who can play this far into the guitar neck are like the accordion players that know what the buttons actually do on the left side of the accordion. Total mystery, but once you see it, you'll never forget, all right? So this right here, believe it or not, is just C major, D major, E minor with a little bit of sauce on it, okay? So the first one is a C major 7, 3E, 3A, 2D, open on the top. And the cool thing about this is we can combine it with the first tip, and I'm really getting a C major in the bottom and a G, B, and E, which make an E minor on top. Major in the front, party in the back. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So it's almost like I'm playing 2 totally different chords with one strumming pattern. And then I can move this whole shape down 2 frets. And notice how sometimes I'll actually go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. In fact, that's a good way to just practice 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and back and forth. Get a cool mesmerizing chord like this D major. And again, I'm calling it a D major, but I'm really just taking the lower part of a D major chord and then adding that E minor on top. Makes a cool effect. There's probably a name for this chord. Nobody knows what it is. Same with those accordion keys. You can't even play this chord in an accordion. Promise you that. And then 2 frets higher, but then put the middle finger back to where the pointer finger is. So now I'm 7E, 7A, 5D. And this is also E minor. Right? It's a different voicing. So I found that learning different voicings can actually get you more excited about practicing strumming patterns. And then the more options you have, the less stuck you feel. Because you probably played C, D, E minor, but does that sound better? Again, that's up to you, but it definitely sounds a lot different, and I think it's a lot more fun to play. So, start experimenting different open chord voicings, or just different chord voicings in general. That doesn't mean you have to use crazy chords like a B minor 11 to a A7 to a G13. You know, just make it easy and open voicings like this, and then you can just explore and you just get excited and you strum better because you're strumming more. Tip number 3, you got to put Elixir strings on your guitar. Elixir Strings is the sponsor of this video. You know that these are the best strings in the world. Why are you depriving yourself of this? Get these right now because they're coated, they last longer. I personally think they sound better. I've used Elixir strings for over a decade. They never do me wrong. They always sound good. They actually I think they sound better once you break them in. So the thing about like uncoated strings, a lot of times you'll break them in and then they just like kind of sound dead. I think they have like a sweet spot that you've been playing for a while. So it is so worth it to get the Elixir strings because they sound better after you break them in. They'll last forever. Longest lasting strings I've personally ever played. And they come in a cool purple and orange box. Color scheme is on point, right? So get yourself Elixir strings. Affiliate link is in the description. Thank you to Elixir, my buddies, for sponsoring the video. On to tip number 4, okay? Different time signatures. Everybody likes to just play that 4/4 time signature. What that means is there's 4 beats in a bar, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's cool, but it's a little basic. I'm a 3/4 guy. 3/4, 6/8. That's just the way I roll. Using a different count, maybe it's 5/4. We'll do both as an example real quick. Is a great way to just kind of loosen up your strumming hand and just get a different vibe going, okay? I think there's a perpetual motion with 3/4 that never really stops or ends. Like, for example, 4/4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it always kind of wants to end. Whereas if you're playing in 3, I'll use those same chords. I think there's just a lot more going on, and it just has like a more fluid sense to it, maybe. So what I'm doing, you could probably see this in 6. 3 and 6 are essentially, it's just how you count them is the main difference for a guitar player just working on strumming chords anyways. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and. So now I'm doing a little bit different, right? So 1, 2, and 3, and. Maybe that first 3 count, I'm just staying on the low half. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6, and. Right? So I can think of this as 1 6 count or 2 3 counts. Doesn't really matter, same difference. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and. But basically you get this back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now fill in the blanks. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Huge fan of 3/4. Another one that's kind of common is 5/4. A cool way to count that. 5 is kind of hard to count. It's tricky at first, but if you break it into a bar of 3 and a bar of 2, it's a lot easier. We just did a bar of 3, so let's do follow it with a 1 and 2 and, right? 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 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 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 1. It's kind of fun once you like lock in. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and same difference. There we go. So, tip. Whatever count. If you're a Prague boy or girl, get that 7, 8, 15, 6. I don't know. I don't even know what other time signatures they are. For me, I'm either 3, 5, 4 if I'm forced to be basic, and that's about it. Everything I play is really just kind of in 6. But, you know, that's just me. That's just, those are just tips from a classy, humble accordion player. Really choose your own count, but different counts will make you a better strummer. And then especially being able to jump back in and out of counts. That's the ultimate goal. 5th tip to become a better strummer. Muting. Using muting to your advantage, okay? One of the hardest things about first counting is you feel like you're using your pick or your fingers to stab at moments in time, right? Like, let's say the accent is 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. We're going to leave that 4 open. Nothing's going to happen. It's a weird count for sure. But I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. Nothing's happening on that 4, so I'm just kind of stabbing at that 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like you can get lost in time, right? And nobody likes being lost in time. Trust me, as someone who's frequently time traveling for a variety of different reasons, don't like being lost in time. But when you mute or ghost note, kind of like how a drummer would do, you keep the time with your hand, okay? So when I'm doing this, I'm just going down and up. And this could be any count I want it to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. It's all about where you put the accents from there. So if you keep a steady strumming hand and then either selectively mute that stuff, I'll do that 5 count again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 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 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5. Couple different ways you could do this. You could release the pressure on your left hand and hit like a chunked mute. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, like that. Or you could just whiff, hit air. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and and 5 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 5. It's a great way to keep time just by keeping an active right hand until you're more confident in just 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 1, 7, 8, 9, 16. Again, that's some advanced musicianship we don't need to talk about in this video, but keeping a steady hand is something that's really cool, especially like, you know, for like funkier type stuff like that. They're always keeping that count with their hand. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So again, you know, that's something that just reminds you of the beat a little more. And again, it's kind of easy to do. It seems daunting at first, but 5 tips. Let's review. See if I can remember what I even just said. Tip number 1, selective string hitting. Tip number 2, learning different chord voicings. Tip number 3, elixir strings. Thank you for sponsoring the video. Tip number 4, different time signatures. Tip number 5, muting. Got it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.